Wow. That took too much work. And I don't know if it still worked or not. Let's see here. Oh, sigh. Anyway, I don't know if this ended up going live or not, but what's going on, Jason?
And just live, bro.
What's that?
Well, you're live
Just,
on Facebook, so
okay, cool.
no, man, just alive, man. That's about it right now. No motion, nowhere right now. So
No motion.
no motion.
Why not? What's going on?
Man, I wait for my list to get back that I got skipped, so that's about it right now.
So you sent a list out to get skip traced, or
Yeah.
how long does it take to come back?
It takes like a day for me.
Okay. So what were you doing prior to that then? Because I thought you had a list that you were working off of already.
No, man, it was so old and like it wasn't it didn't come from real estate. It was like something else. So
Well, that could be like potentially the kind of best source of lists that other people aren't hitting up, you know, could be leads that like don't necessarily come from, real estate related sources,
yeah,
right?
it was more of a consumer side because I have to check against the county records. So it's just time consuming to try to pump out calls.
Hmm.
I'm checking the county, and then I'm looking, then I'm skipping that name, and then it's like too many steps. So I might get like 50 calls for the whole day, if that.
Yeah, that's tough when you're doing direct to seller stuff. You need to be getting out like, well, 50 like actual conversations or 50 dials.
50 dials, man. Because again, you have to get the list. You look at the list, you check the name, check the address. Then you need to find out who they are. So you get a whole list of people who those are. So you're calling all these people. You might not even find the right person.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so $50 on a list that's direct to seller is going to be tough to get any sort of traction on that, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I think I'm gonna have to reactivate my REI reply, send out some more SMS blasts.
yeah, well, SMS is going to definitely get you a lot more uh, responses back, right? So how many total on that list do you have to hit up?
No, on my list I have coming in now. I just pulled it like yesterday. I think I got like 700 coming in.
Okay.
So with two numbers, I can get it done in 2 days
Okay.
in terms of initial texting.
Just through texting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, I haven't personally used REI reply. I'm kind of wondering
It's
if
just a
it's
go high level white label.
okay. Yeah, so I don't know if you're familiar if you've heard about Astro Blaster or not,
No.
but so Jamil Damji's program, Pace Morby, they kind of did an overlay on top of that as well, and they
Mm.
kind of white labeled their own SMS outreach that they're doing with workflows and like automated replies and follow-up sequences and stuff like that. So I'm kind
Yeah,
of,
they all have those built in.
yeah,
Like REI, I mean REI reply has that built in. Go high level but has that built in.
yeah. So are you using those follow-up sequences as well then, or are you just still doing everything manual?
I'm mainly hands-on. The thing about the Go High Level platform, just in general, it just takes it's really tedious to set up. Like when I first got on the Go High Level platform, I was using it with Amplify My Business. They were handling um all my lead gen through Facebook and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And but Jesus Christ, I was paying up the ass for that. And then that company went under, but I left before they went under. I was seeing diminishing returns
Yeah, well, I
from
think
that.
any, I'd be curious to hear other people's opinion on this as well. Like, so if you're on Facebook Live and you're watching, you feel free to jump on the Zoom call, or if you have a question or comment, just post it in the comments, and I'll get to them as they come in. But I'd be curious to hear anybody else's experience if they have set up a CRM that hasn't been tedious. Like it seems like just the process of getting a CRM set up and
It
configured
it's
data.
not exact. I shouldn't say it's tedious, but it's not intuitive. That's what I mean by tedious. Sorry. It's not very intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still certain things that CRM lacks. Like if you're pounding numbers and stuff like that, then I think I talked to you about that last time. Like you can't go forward to the next contact in a contact channel. You had to back out and go back to the main list of contacts and then click down to the next contact. So it's not workflow intuitive at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked about this like a while ago. That's why I like the part about Podio, because you can go to the next one just by putting your mouse to the middle of the screen and you get the arrow. You can't do that over there on any of the Go High Level white labels.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, every CRM is going to have its warts and limitations for sure. I mean, I'm running.
that's a pretty serious limitation.
Well, like I'm running into pretty serious limitations on Podio, though, right? Like, I don't know if there's one CRM that somebody has, and I'd be curious with this as well. Is anybody using a CRM that they're absolutely in love with?
Like I started using FlowTrack, and FlowTrack's not bad.
So, well, what are the benefits of FlowTrack that, like with Go High Level, that you're not seeing?
I mean, definitely my pain point it's in being intuitive, and FlowTrack is definitely a lot more intuitive and easier to use than Go High Level platforms.
Mm-hmm. And do they have
just even easy use? The automation's easy and everything. It's just easier.
and you
Less
can do
steps,
text
easier to
messaging,
do.
text messaging blasts and stuff like that on there?
Yeah, you don't have to create with what the hell they call that list, the smart list, things like that. That's just confusing just all in itself. And I'm a pretty smart person. You guys are just the thing I liked about having Amplify is that I could just give them a list, and then I had a dedicated account manager that would do calls on my behalf, like 2 days a week, 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a lot of deals that way. It just didn't pan out, and it just wasn't making sense anymore. It's the same thing like when you get VAs and they're rock stars for the first 3 months, and then all they do is give you 30 calls and 8 hours of dead time.
Yeah, that's well, I mean, so you got to stay on them for sure, right? So like the thing about VAs, is and anybody actually that's doing either any sort of work for you in general, right? Regardless if it's acquisitions or dispo or tasks, is you got to like have your KPIs dialed in and be managing that person. And if you have those targets set up and the expectations set, right, then you should be very clear about what those expectations are. And then if things start kind of going south, you either obviously you're having a conversation with them about what's going on, but if they're
Well, I
not.
mean, if they give you an account manager, I don't think that I need to be doing that. That's what the account manager's for.
Well, yes and no. Like, is the account manager have access to all your data and the KPIs that you're tracking, right?
Yeah, the way I set it up, I set up
Yeah.
on a different CRM. But yeah, that was actually really super easy. What was that? What was that called? It's $15 a month too. It's like a long name. It's like something CRM. But yeah, that was really easy, especially to put list into and everything else. It's
Right.
really, really good basic CRM.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, like, so were you having periodic meetings with, the account manager that the VAs were managing or that were managing the
Yeah,
VAs?
about 2, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah. So if they're not like able to help you out or help their VAs out with, you know, hitting whatever targets that you set and assuming that they're realistic, then it's, I guess, time to look for another company, if they're not able to manage their people. Or if that company is good, they should, replace that person with somebody that is able to meet whatever the expectations are, right?
No, well, I mean, without a doubt, I mean, I did all that, and at the end of the day, I had to reach out on LinkedIn to get the CEO's number and express my concerns there because it wasn't working through the channels that were given to me.
Mhm.
I had to make my own channel, and he made it right.
So were they based in the Philippines or?
Yep,
Okay. And what sort of tasks did you have them working on?
script cold calls. If it's a warm lead, send it over to myself. Not put a follow up date, and I'll follow with them either same day or tomorrow.
Hmm. Yeah, that is tough. I haven't personally had that experience. Like the two, we're actually three companies now that I've worked with as far as virtual assistants go for various tasks have all been pretty good about helping me out with making sure that I'm happy with the work that's being done and the amount of either buyers that are getting hit up or buyers that we're adding to our database or whatever the particular task is that you know for the work that they're doing is being done in a way that's like is meeting my expectations as to what I think they should be able to do as far as whatever metrics that we set for them, right? So yeah, if anybody has or needs recommendations for VAs and depending on what sort of task they're looking to do, I could definitely make some recommendations on that. So you're definitely going to pay more for a VA if you go through a company that manages the VA for you or helps managing the VA for you and helps you vet the help. So these companies will basically vet the VAs first, make sure that they're a good potential fit, and then they'll give you, a few different candidates to take a look at, and then you can interview them and decide for yourself who would be the best fit for the position, right? So whereas if you're going on your own, so you're going to end up paying more for that, right? You might end up paying like, I don't know, $7 an hour because that company's going to be taking a cut of whatever they're actually paying the VA. Whereas if you go yourself, you attempt to hire somebody just off of Upwork or wherever, you're going to be able to pay, almost half of that, maybe $4 an hour or $5 an hour, but you're going to have to be doing a lot of work yourself to kind of filter and vet the candidates and then do the work to make sure they're hitting whatever targets you set. So it's kind of a trade-off between what is your time worth, if you want to save that extra money and put the time into vet the candidates yourself, then you can go ahead and do that. But that's not something it's not the route I wanted to go. So
Yeah, I got another I have another company. I spoke with the owner. It's a referral through my partner with the other venture I have going on. So that's out of Egypt. So, but no, be going probably forward with that. So probably be handling all our calls and things like that for our students and stuff. So,
Okay,
but in terms of myself, no, no, not at the moment.
yeah,
I need myself to be profitable first before I start spending money. I don't want to spend my own money.
yeah,
I need to spend profits and my own money.
that makes sense. Let's see, Rob is saying he's looking to pick up one for video editing and social media related activities. So actually, I might have a recommendation for you. I'm just starting to work with a VA on a very similar thing. I'm going to have her put together social media posts and stuff like that for me. So, and I think she also does video editing as well. So, I could get you her contact info if you want, and you could reach out, and she can send you some of the work that she's done, so you can take a look over it and see if it's something that might be a good fit for you. I think the pricing is going to vary depending on, what sort of volume of posts that you want to do, and how many accounts you want them to post to, and some things like that. So she could probably work with you on coming up with a plan on what you're wanting exactly as far as social media goes. So, but I have got her company doing some other odds and ends for me as well. So they do a lot of the company also does a lot of admin work. And so this is one thing I hated doing with a capital H, just opening mail up, scanning mail, filing stuff in Google Drive. This stuff is just this is the problem too with owning rentals. People say it's passive income. It's not really. When you have a bunch of houses, I got a stack of mail this thick coming through, and opening that every week and scanning it and sorting it. There's 15 different properties. That means 15 insurance policies, 45 utilities, utility bills if you're looking at 3 utility bills per property. And so trying to keep all this stuff organized and filed and everything. So her company's been great for that. So they've taken care of making sure all my incoming paperwork and mail and stuff gets organized, so my bookkeeper can find stuff when she's trying to do the books every month. But yeah, this is one thing I have gladly outsourced to somebody else. So and then her company does a bunch of other things as well. So they do the social media stuff also. So but yeah, she's been great to work with. So Rob, you're asking if I mail it to them. So do I mail what to them? What the social media stuff that I want them to do? Or do I mail the mail? Oh, I see what you're saying. So this is kind of the solution I came up with, because she's not based in the US, right? So it would be rather expensive. So I set up a virtual mailbox, which is basically an address. You get an address at some location that does this. They will open your mail for you and scan it and put it into their online drive system. And then you can go through there and download the mail, look through it, download it, and then file it as you want. So now I've been in the process of updating all my addresses to be this virtual mail location. And so that's where my mail gets sent. Now, if a piece of mail comes in that I actually need the physical copy of, I can ask that mail center to actually forward it to me. So they basically get a electronic copy of the mail, and then they're able to just file it into Google Drive based on what property it's related to. Right, so that has cut down on a huge amount of time that I was spending just opening mail. Like that was a task that would cause me anxiety because I didn't like doing it, first of all. And so I would let it get to the point where it was the stack was literally like, 6 inches tall of mail. And so I just have anxiety about it. So I was like, this is something I don't want to do. I just don't want to go through all this mail and spend an hour and a half opening mail and scanning it, so this virtual mailbox has been a great thing. So Rob says he's looking at a massive stack of mail right now. Oh man. Yeah, that was a huge burden off of me. I wish I had done that way, way, way sooner. So now it's so much better. Just like I spend once a week, I have like Tuesday afternoons blocked out just for my busy work. So I'll go through the online mail, I'll go through each item in the list that got opened up, see if it's something I can toss or send to the VA, or is it something I need to, get forwarded to my local address so I can have the physical copy, and that's taken me, now down to like 15 minutes maybe to go through all this stuff. So yeah, that was a huge pain point for me in the past, but I'm getting better. So I'm slowly migrating, utility bills, tax bills, stuff like that over to this address. So I'm not having it mailed to me directly and opening it up. So I would highly recommend it if anybody is struggling with a similar issue. But I mean, this whole thing helped me realize also this, like I said, these rentals are not passive income. There's quite a bit of busy work involved with them. And so I'm looking at actually liquidating a lot of these single family and 2-unit properties that I have, and I'd rather roll it into like one 15 or 20 unit building, or I'm looking out for self-storage facilities right now. So got a
That's the
number.
new play, huh? Self
Yeah,
storage, huh?
yeah. I'm just I don't know, man. Tired of chasing rent down from
You're gonna
tenants.
chase it down from self storagers.
Well, self-storage, the eviction process is a lot less expensive and painful than an eviction from an apartment, right? Especially if it's here in Washington, you could be looking at thousands of dollars in legal expenses plus months of just trying to get them out, right? So, potentially an eviction is going to cost you easily more than 5K if you have to follow it all the way through, right? That's not the case. Like 30 days and their shit is auctioned off, right? And you get back. So yeah, Rob's saying self-storage is the dream. It's been on his mind for about 2 years now. Yeah, I've been playing around with it for about a year. I had an offer on a property in Indiana. It was a huge value add deal, but somebody just beat me to it and locked it up before I was able to. It was like 118 units for 250K, something crazy like that. And it was a very big value add play. It was probably going to be more than 100K in work, but numbers on it looked super good. But unfortunately, I just was not quick enough to lock that deal up. So I don't know. And then rent increase, there's a lot more automation also that can go on with self-storage. So yeah, it's something that I'm definitely looking pretty hard into, and I think once I've gotten some of these other smaller properties that I have sold off, I'll be looking at, trying to pick up one of these things. So Rob's saying there's a good episode on Bigger Pockets podcast about, do you know who the guest was on it? There's actually one guy locally that does quite a bit of self-storage investing. Oh, there are two guys locally, but one guy I just ran into, I came across one of his posts on Facebook. He was selling a facility in Arkansas, seller finance, and willing to do like 10% down on it. Now the problem was that like he was having all sorts of issues with it, getting broken into and stuff, and so it was one of his problem properties. And he didn't make it sound that appealing, so he kind of talked me out of it. So, but it was interesting. So I connected with this guy on Facebook. It was some like national self-storage group on Facebook that I connected with him, and then I got his phone number. I was like, oh, interesting, it's a Washington area code. So I called him up. He's actually based in Auburn, owns a bunch of self-storage facilities around the country. So this one was a smaller facility, and apparently had much bigger ones, and this was consuming a lot of time, and yeah, he wasn't really getting much of a return on it compared to what some of the other deals that he was working on. But it sounded like a bit too much of a headache, even with the 10% down than I was willing to take on. So I ended up just passing on that. So that Bigger Pockets, Rob saying that Bigger Pockets podcast is Chris Benson. Okay, I'll have to check that out. I haven't heard of him. So Jason, what's your plans then? Once you get this list, you're just gonna start blasting text messages out and seeing what you can get lined up?
Yeah, let's see what shakes. I need to get some motion, man.
Yeah, taking some action, that will be key for sure. I think you'll start feeling better once you start having some conversations with sellers. But the trick will be just get them to respond to you first. So do you notice a difference? I'm kind of curious about this. I don't know if this is something you tracked or not. Do you notice a difference between response rates on cold calling versus cold texting?
Most people don't return calls, even if you leave a voicemail. In terms of texting, yeah, but it's really just, guys playing jokes, or, you're irritating them, stuff like that. So that's already given. That's pretty much going to be about 80% of your responses back. If you do get responses back, that's 80% going to be the vertical that they're going to be in. Oh yeah, I want $2 million for my $200,000 house, that kind of stuff. But there are some hidden gems in there, but you at least see who's able to talk. I always think that a text is less intrusive than a phone call. That's why I like texting a little bit more than a phone call. Phone call is urgent to me.
Yeah, texting is going to be less intrusive for sure. I'm just curious if people are more likely to respond to a phone call than a random text message. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing without doing outbound marketing. That's the struggle with outbound marketing and wholesaling, right? Is you need to go through a lot of leads in order to find somebody who's like truly motivated and is realistic about
price.
About the price. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But it's also, the time that you do it. I usually do, usually after 12 or about 12 and after. I really don't do anything before 12. Like my mornings are me doing catch up or doing actual work from 6 to 10 to 11 or somewhere right around there.
Mhm.
And then, my campaigns start usually about 12 to 2, 12 to 3. But I think I'm going to start them later. I think I'm going to start them about 5-ish,
Mhm.
5 to 7:30-ish. Because most people are off work for the most part. So I try not to, my hours, I usually calling people at work or something like that. So, that could also be, one of those things. So that's one thing I am going to change up would be the time.
Yeah, so I mean, the other thing too, I was gonna say is the outbound marketing, you know. So with inbound marketing, like if you're, putting ads out there or doing bandit signs or something like that, where you're getting people calling you, they're kind of already through that process of like, okay, I need to sell right now. I need to find somebody to talk to about this property, right?
Yeah.
So in theory, you're going to be talking to, as a wholesaler, you're going to be talking to less people, right? Because the people that are contacting you have some sort of, they have a motivation to sell because they're reaching out to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, and you're less likely to be in a situation where, they are going to be asking you for the price first, right? Because when you're doing cold calling or cold texting,
Yeah, the
seller's going to be like,
power positions changed. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. The seller's going to be like, well, what are you gonna offer me? And
Yeah.
they're like, well, what do you want? And they're like, well, I don't know. You're the one that called me, right? Whereas if you got the roles reversed, if you're doing, inbound marketing, they're calling you, and then you can be the one to say, well, I don't know. What are you looking to get? You're the one that called me, right? So yeah, it's a little bit different. So that finding like you need to go through a lot more leads for the outbound marketing, right? You need to talk to a lot. First of all, you need to talk to a lot of people, just because the ones that are motivated are going to be hard to find in that list. And then the ones that actually are motivated, it's not always easy to get a price out of them initially, right?
Yeah.
And
You're
so
almost better just door knocking if you just get a list closer to you.
I don't know, man. Like everybody keeps talking about door knocking.
I
Like
mean, I'm
I
I'm
want
just a
to hear
personal
some
person.
statistics on
So
door knocking. Like, how many doors do you have to knock on in order to get a deal? I want somebody to tell me this.
I got a friend that all he really does is door knock, and this guy's a lot busier than I am. So I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, well, how many doors does he have to knock on to get a deal? That's what I want to
Oh,
know.
I mean, he's probably every week this guy's got at least 2 or 3 deals in the pipeline. Like he just got subject to and a bunch of other subject twos going on. So I mean he's getting the deals out there.
Where at?
Over here by me.
Where are you at? You're up north?
No, Bremerton, Port Orchard,
Oh,
Kitsap
you're
County.
up. Oh, Kitsap. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And he's doing deals in Seattle, he's doing deals in Buffalo. So yeah, I mean he's got the deals going on.
Interesting. All right. Well, I mean, I guess I do know one person that is knocking on doors of pre-foreclosures.
Yeah.
So he's kind of targeting
Does his name start with the C?
no, it
Gotcha.
doesn't. But he's further south. He's further.
Mm,
But yeah, we just helped him dispo a sub 2 deal last month. So it was pretty sweet terms on that loan that they took over. So it's going to be a good rental for somebody at least. So
where are you trying to find your storages at?
I'm willing to look anywhere. So I'm all over Facebook right now and self-storage groups and just various like commercial property groups. But so if I see anything there, my VA sees anything there, it goes into Podio, anything on LinkedIn. And then I've added myself to some wholesalers mailing lists who just focus on self-storage and commercial deals. So that's where most of my self-storage leads have been coming in from.
Gotcha.
And then I've also been taking a look on like Crexy and and LoopNet and reaching out to some agents on deals that have just kind of been sitting out there for a while, seeing how open the sellers are to like on price, if they're motivated to either reduce their price or potentially look at, seller financing. But I haven't had any luck. But then again, I'm not like hitting that channel hard either right now at this time, at least. So we'll see. I'm looking at one right now in North Carolina. It's I think just under 50 units, so it's not a huge deal, but they're asking, I think, 250-ish for it. And it's going to need some work, but there's also opportunity to expand because it's on a pretty big plot of land. So, and then I've got a bunch of other smaller deals. That's the other thing too, is I don't want to get into a tiny deal that like it's bringing in 2K a month or something in revenue, because I feel like it's going to be a lot of, or maybe not a lot of work, but a lot of work relative to the amount of money it's bringing in. Whereas a larger facility could potentially obviously be bringing in more money.
Yeah.
You do the same amount of work, right? For that. So that's going to kind of be the trade-off. I don't want to get in another situation where I've got a bunch of small properties and I'm finding my time is, looking over all of them and managing the managers and making sure everything is going right, because I'm going to be in the same situation I am now with these single families and small multifamilies, where I feel like I'm spending too much time, doing management, and it's not passive.
Might have to bring on one of those VAs just to handle that at $2.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that too. Yeah, the problem is I'm kind of at the state where it's like I can't justify it based on the cash flow I'm getting to bring in somebody full-time to manage these. So I'm in this weird kind of place. Like, I feel like I either needed to do 5 properties or 50.
For $2.
What's that?
For $2 an hour, 3 hours a day or something like that.
Well, where are you gonna get somebody for $2 an hour?
I know. I mean, they're out there. I mean, the cheapest I found are $5.
Yeah,
I came across some that were like, $2, somewhere right around
that's
there.
exactly what I'm talking about, though, is like, how much time am I going to spend vetting these people that I put a post out on, put a post out on Upwork or something like that. You get a zillion responses to it, and then you got to try to find somebody that isn't going to completely flake out on you when you hire them, right? I mean, this is actually a good point. Like, I have tried Upwork before and like had somebody that looked really well, interviewed really well, and then they worked for a week and then they just disappeared. Like, didn't hear from them ever again. So yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't want to spend my time trying to, chase these people down, and I'd rather just have a company and spend a few more dollars an hour and have them take care of all the hiring and managing and all that stuff for me instead.
I wouldn't use them for real estate cold calling, but if you just need simple admin tasks, I would go ahead and use them for that. I put that in the chat for you.
Oh, get callers. Interesting. So they're not cold callers?
No, I use them. That's the company I was talking about that I had for cold calling. And it just didn't work out for me in terms of that. But in terms of just property management, stuff like that, then I think that they should be fine doing that. I didn't have to hunt them down.
Mm. So $6.50 an hour. You got one.
Oh, they're $6.50 an hour now. Oh, this is 2 years ago when I used them. It was $5 an hour.
$6.50 an hour if you got one. If you hire 3, then it goes down to $5 an hour.
I think I had like a team of like 6 or 8. Going tough in the paint, man.
Yeah, and then there's some other costs associated with it as far as getting numbers. And this, I guess, is if you have them calling for you, getting numbers, auto dialer, TCPA compliance.
You know what? I came across somebody. Are you on Discord?
I have a Discord account. I haven't opened in a while.
Oh, Rob.
So
Let's see here. I come across VAs all the time.
all right. Oh, Rob says so the self-storage episode is 342 on bigger pockets. So I'm gonna make a note of that. Check it out.
No, this is the wrong one.
Duplexes to 60 to a 64 unit and self-storage millions. Chris Benson. This is from 2019. Cool.
Man, where'd they go?
All right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. When I come back across it, I will send it to you.
All right, cool.
These would actually be just individuals. I think without a company, but they're in RE channels that I'm in on Discord.
All right, I'm gonna hop off the call here. Rob, I don't know, are you available right after this? I can hop on a call. I can text you my number. Cool. All right, I'll DM you on Facebook. So, all right, guys, take care. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you next time.